In September 2024, I was joined by 4 friends on a journey of a lifetime. We did a self-supported 350-mile ride from D.C. to Pittsburgh along the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal Towpath and the Great Allegheny Passage. On day 9, we rode over 35 miles from Dravo Hiker Biker Campground in Buena Vista to our hotels in downtown Pittsburgh. Highlights included McKeesport Riverfront, Riverton Bridge, the Monongahela River, Hot Metal Bridge, Pump House and Homestead, and of course, the finish at Point State Park. We woke up before sunrise after a restful sleep in the shelter. It was a lot easier to pack up since we didn't have to sleep in our tents. This was to be an easy day, but Mike had technical difficulties to deal with first. What do they call that pulley?
There's a jockey pulley and something else pulley.
How'd you even notice it?
I was having shifting problems yesterday, so I just went to go look at that, and I tried to turn the pedal crank, and it was like, "Arr, arr, arr."
All right, we put it back together, but it's short of bearing.
Are you sure this is the right one for you?
No, I'm not. Yeah, okay, let it.
It's good to be a mechanical engineer because it's been. I slept in the shelter last night. I think it went down to about 52 last night. It's about 54 when we checked the thermometer after getting up. We survived our first mechanical this morning. Mike had lost a bearing in his either jockey or idler wheel. I forget which one it was. He was able to fix it. He did a good job. Hopefully it gets us out of here. There's a bike shop in McKeesport that we might stop in. We'll see how it goes. Last day. A little happy to almost have made it, and sad that the trip is coming to an end. We left camp around 9:15. We're heading out on our way to Pittsburgh. We're hoping that Mike's bike holds up. And we got word from Steve this morning. He already boarded his train. He's heading back to New London. He said it was pretty smooth going at Pittsburgh. You kind of put your bikes in the baggage car. All kind of anxious about how that's going to go. We'll have to transfer our bikes to a different train when we get to New York City. That's tomorrow's problem. Right now, enjoy the rest of the trail before it's all over. We had a brief stop in Boston to check out the visitor center. From here onward, the trail became more urban and industrial. We were entering the Steel Valley. In 1775, David McKee, a Scottish immigrant, was the first permanent white settler at the forks of the Monongahela and Youghiogheny rivers. The city would later be named for him. The Jerome Street Bridge is a rare steel crescent arch bridge. The crescent arch is formed when the ribs of the arch are not parallel, but instead form two different curves beginning and ending together. In McKeesport, the Gap Trail was blocked by a parked train. There is a map with a detour via Corson Street Bridge posted on the wall, and we took it. This area was once the home of the bustling National Tube Works. The steel pipe manufacturer moved here from East Boston in 1872 to be closer to the iron makers. McKeesport rose to national importance during the 1900s as a center for manufacturing steel. The Riverton Bridge was built to connect the U.S. Steel plant in Duquesne to the National Tube Works in McKeesport. With the closing of the two mills in the 1980s, the bridge sat unused until 2007 when it became part of the Gap. During the French and Indian War in 1755, a British military expedition led by General Braddock was defeated in the Battle of the Monongahela. The British force was attempting to take Fort Duquesne, now Point State Park. General Braddock was killed, and the retreat of the remaining forces was commanded by a 23-year-old Lieutenant Colonel George Washington. Construction of locks and dams on the Monongahela River made the 128 miles from Pittsburgh to Fairmont, West Virginia, accessible to the Gulf of Mexico. We took a detour across the Monongahela River on the Rankin Bridge to see the Kerry blast furnaces, a remnant of the once massive U.S. Steel Homestead steelworks. The Kerry blast furnaces are a vestige of Pittsburgh's 20th century domination of the steel industry. 2-hour guided tours are available for $25 per person. Unfortunately, we didn't have the time to spare, and the grounds are only accessible by guided tour. The hot metal bridge was built in 1900 to transport molten iron from the blast furnaces across the river where the steel was manufactured. The pump house dates back to 1892 when it was built by the Carnegie Steel Company. That same year, it was the site of the Battle of Homestead, a defining moment in the nation's labor history. Steelmaking requires a lot of water. In its prime, this complex could produce over 17,000 gallons of water per minute. Today, the building and its adjacent water tower help to interpret the tumultuous events of 1892, as well as to highlight the illustrious steelmaking legacy of the region. It was after 1 p.m. and we were getting hungry. The Eaton Park was literally on the trail. Just like that, we could see Point State Park Fountain and the end of our journey. Having achieved our goal, there was a sense of accomplishment, pride, and joy, and we were in no hurry to leave here. We took a victory lap around the fountain and then headed off to scope out downtown and the Amtrak station. Art Walk on the Allegheny is a 2-mile riverfront walk along the Allegheny River Point State Park and the Strip District, featuring commissioned public artworks. We parted ways and got settled into our hotels to get cleaned up before dinner. Greg and I had a room at the Wyndham Grand, and Mike and Ian were staying at the Cambria Hotel. We met again at Condito Tacos, a bougie Mexican restaurant in the Cultural District. On the 10th and final day, we rode just over a mile to the Pittsburgh Amtrak station. Bikes were loaded in a baggage car from here to New York City. Our train took us through the world-famous Horseshoe Curve in Altoona, PA. Built in 1854, it replaced the time-consuming Allegheny Portage Railroad, which was the only other practical route for goods across the mountains at that time. In New York City, we transferred to a Northeast Corridor train where we used the in-coach bike racks until we reached New London, Connecticut, our final destination. Stay tuned for more videos on the gear I used and how we planned for this adventure. Thanks for joining us on this amazing journey, and I'll see you in the next adventure.